G'day everybody, welcome to my Aussie Gardening Kitchen, Garden Edition. If it's your first time here, my name's Darren, but please call me Daz. Just as the wind picks up, to make things a little bit more difficult. To top that off, I've got some guys doing solar panels on the roof next door just over here. So let's see what happens with the audio while trying to do this video. Over behind the camera, I've got a bunch of grow bags and they're sitting on a row of shelving. And on that shelving, I've made a custom plastic surround where I can catch water. And it's a great thing that I've done because I can have my grow bags sitting out there in summer, fill up the plants with water, get them nice and soaked, and then all the excess water sits in the bottom of that shelf. And all those grow bags, they slowly soak up the water out of that reservoir underneath. And yeah, it's worked out really well. So anyway, with those, I've got some cucumbers, some pumpkins, some potatoes, there's some garlic. I've got celery that I'm letting that go to seed so I can collect the seed for the celery seeds. Celery seeds are absolutely fantastic when baking and using them in the kitchen with salads and things like that. And of course, using the seeds to grow more celery plants next season. The two cucumber plants that I've got growing there are pretty young plants, and they're still at the stage where the vines are still reaching out and growing and trying to find themselves a place to grow. So today I've just gone in and given them a bit of a training, just pick them up and train them through the wire and weave them into different places as a sort of a guide for them to know where to go. And then I'll just watch those ends, and as I need, I'll just pick those ends and thread them through the next square or maybe a few squares along just to guide them. And the reason I'm doing that is because I need to spread out the cucumber vines and the leaves and the fruit, I guess, the cucumbers as well, because I want to get some airflow. Also, I want to try and get some even sun on that backing that I've got on the plants there. And so far it's working pretty well. So that's the plan anyway. I don't need to grow too many cucumbers at all because they're not actually that popular with the family. There's a few people that eat them and it keeps them going. Now the chickens do love them, so if there's any excess cucumbers, the chickens get some. And I do like to grow some for the chickens anyway, as a bit of a treat. Now the reason I'm potting marigolds is because I've got a pot over there that is just abundant. It is chock-a-block full of plants. Not just flowers and leaves, but actual plants. Because the original plant from last summer, I let go to seed, and then I got the pods once the seeds were right, and just crush the pods and let the seeds fall at the base of the big pot plant, or at the top of the big pot plant, I should say. And now this season, they've all taken on, and I have so many plants. So the plan is now, repot them, put them in different places of the yard. I've got pumpkins growing in 1, 2, 3 different parts of the yard. So it's great to take these and put a whole bunch of these around the pumpkins, drawing in those pollinators who are going to come around and have a look at these, and then while they're at it, they'll see the pumpkin flowers and pollinate the pumpkin flowers and hopefully give me some nice big pumpkins at the end of the season. Now, in case you're wondering, these are salvias. I got these off one of my kids who saw them at the big hardware store, getting thrown out for $1, absolute bargain. You can see that they're massively root bound. So I'm just gonna spread these roots open a bit, or a fair bit actually. In fact, let's just do one right now. So all I'm going to do is simply go to the bottom of the roots and go like this with my fingers and spread those roots out at the bottom all the way around like that. If this is root bound in a large pot like this, what you can also do is you can spread open the bottom like this, and then what you can do down the side is to just do one cut down one of the sides. So just straight down the side of the roots there, just do a cut through the roots. That's going to loosen them up. You're going to encourage these roots to grow outwards, not spinning around in a circle and strangling the plant and just being a whole mess of roots in the one spot. For all you beginners out there, repotting is so easy. You've just got to get your soil. I try to make the soil go to about 3/4 of the height up the pot, because what you want to do is have those roots sitting up near the top of the pot like this, about this high, and that way they can spread out and then they can slowly reach down over time. So roots in, holding with a couple of fingers in place, soil on top like so, spreading that out, patting that down, pushing that root ball down a little bit into the soil, and then I'm just leaving a little bit of space at the top here so I can put some mulch, just a couple of centimeters, like so, and then just some mulch in the top of the pot like this, and then that mulch is going to suppress the weeds. It's going to stop water from evaporating, and that'll eventually break down and become organic matter. What I will do later is this, and all the others that I have, when I water them in, I'll put a little bit of fish emulsion into that water, not too much, I don't want it too strong, and that's just going to be a bit of nutrition. As I water this down, soak it down, it's also going to leave a bit of nutrition to give these a bit of a kickstart and to help those roots, as the roots start to spring back to life and reach out for nutrition and water, and hopefully make these nice, healthy and beautifully flowering plants. I had a basic idea of where I planted my garlic bulbs, so all I did was I reached down into the pot, down, and then pulled up to lift the soil, and I was able to lift the bulbs up slowly and pick those out of the dirt. And as expected, they'd been in way too long and they'd really gone damp and not looking the greatest. So what I'm hoping that I can do is to take these garlic bulbs and the individual cloves that all fell apart in the soil. I've put those onto a plate and I'm putting that in the sun, and I'm just going to let them dry out in the sun for a few days. I'll keep an eye on them, and I'm going to see if I can dry them out and still use them. Now, if I can't use the garlic for myself, all's not lost, because I'm going to mince that up, add it with apple cider vinegar that still has the mother in it, and I'll store that in a bottle. And then what I do is add that to the chicken's water, because I generally give the chickens an apple cider vinegar garlic mix with their water probably once a month, just to help treat them with parasites and worms and things like that. Just a bit of a natural assistance to the chicken's health. So it's time for the potatoes, and I love growing potatoes. You just don't know what you're going to get, how many, how big, that sort of thing. So it's a bit of an exciting process, harvesting and seeing what you're going to get. So it's just a matter of turning the grow bag out into the wheelbarrow and going through the soil. And that's exactly what I did, as you can see here. And it was good. I got some decent sized potatoes. It wasn't the greatest harvest of all, but for one potato, I got this amount. And hey, you can't complain when you take one little thing and turn it into many. I've got butternut pumpkins and Kent pumpkins growing over there as well, and they're doing well. I've got butternut pumpkins already growing, which is fantastic. And I've got Kent pumpkin female flowers that are appearing, and I've been hand pollinating those, getting in there with the male flowers and pollinating them myself. I do have plenty of pollinators, and I've got plenty of marigolds around, but I just want to make sure that I can get in there and hand pollinate and just help the process along. So hopefully I'm going to get some nice Kent pumpkins growing in that patch as well. All right, I'm running out of daylight, and I need to get the rest of this stuff potted up. As you can see, I'm slowly getting there, but talking does not help matters. If you've stuck around this long and watched the entire video, I appreciate it so much. It does help my channel a lot. If you wouldn't mind, please check out this video on the screen, and hopefully I'll see you in the next cooking or gardening video. Bye for now.